Welcome to the future, where the glass is half full and you'll need new glasses, where you'll be jumping from conclusions.
The past is annulled, and a new future is born.
Never before in history has so much meant so little to so many. AD on the radio.
It's you and the senorita, whoop it, blowing up the tweeter, cause it's me up in the speaker. Back in the mama seat, top down like a player, and the sound up in your ears, it is the dopest rhyme, say I run a game like a cheater.
So yesterday on the show, we, like a decent portion of the rest of the world, played that audio of Melania Trump mashed up with Michelle Obama, which a lot of people view as conclusive proof that she appropriated large portions of her speech at the Republican National Convention from one that Michelle Obama gave back in 2008. I think pretty much everybody on the face of the planet did that yesterday. But never being a bunch of folks to follow the herd mentality, our take on it was a little different. A lot of people were like, well, this means Trump is done. Ha ha. How can we possibly have a president whose potential first lady steals speeches? And, look, if you're looking for hypocrisy and signs of the whole thing being a bit of a mess, there's plenty of it to go around. That time where I think Melania told Matt Lauer shortly before going on stage, oh, yeah, I wrote, I worked really hard on this. I worked really hard on this and tried my best and wanted it to come from my heart. These are my words. Didn't have a speechwriter do it for me. And then when people went, yeah, that's a lot like something we've all heard before, the cry of, this was handed to me by speechwriters, came out. And a lot of people went, oh, yeah, well, put a fork in Trump. They're clearly done because of that. Whereas we went, no, they're not. Look, there's all sorts of things. If that kind of dent in your armor was going to sink that presidential ship, there's bigger issues that would have done it long before now. And, the practical upshot of all of this is the fact that, well, here we go.
The chair announces that Donald J. Trump, having received a majority of these votes entitled to be cast at the convention, has been selected as the Republican Party nominee for President of the United States.
And yes, we know it's Donald J. Trump. However, Paul Ryan botched the future president of these United States of America in the eyes of the Republican National Convention's name. So there was that. But what I thought was very interesting, in the wake of it not slowing down the Trump campaign whatsoever, and we pointed this out on the show yesterday. We pointed out that Barack Obama, some people might have caught this, some people might have not. Back in, I think, 2007, gave a speech that was very similar to Deval Patrick's. Funkhauser, how much time do we have before we go to break? Do we have time for this?
2 minutes.
2 minutes?
Oh.
2 minutes? Well, I'm going to play you the Deval Patrick and Barack Obama speeches back to back. Have a listen to this.
I am not asking anybody to take a chance on me. I'm asking you to take a chance on your own aspirations.
I'm not just asking you to take a chance on me. I'm also asking you to take a chance on your own aspirations.
I haven't spent most of my life in politics, which most of you know. But I've spent enough time in Washington to know how much we need to change Washington.
I haven't spent a lot of time learning the ways of Washington. But I've been there long enough to know that the ways of Washington must change.
But her dismissive point, and I hear it a lot from her staff,
Deval Patrick again.
That all I have to offer is words. Just words. We hold these truths to be self-evident. All men are created equal.
tell me words don't matter. I have a dream. Just words.
Mm-hmm.
Where the left and right come together for fundamental truths. AD on the radio, on Twitter at ADSXE.
I do what I want, when I want, how I want. Every day you're going and working, running that rat race at that pace in that place will leave a bad taste for anyone, everyone working day after day. So buddy, I gotta say, there's gotta be a better way, yeah. And you do what they told ya. Company man, feel it, a mindless little soldier. How can you live like that and maintain your composure before it's begun? Your life's already freaking over, yeah.
So what have we learned from the past couple of days? We've learned that Melania Trump got large portions of her speech from something that Michelle Obama said back in 2008. We also learned that Barack Obama got large portions of stuff that was associated with him from a guy called Deval Patrick, who, if you did not know, he's a politician, he's a civil rights lawyer, he was the 71st governor of Massachusetts from 2007 to 2015, and he gave speeches that sounded a lot like speeches Barack Obama would give a couple of years later. Now, who knows? Who knows? Like, are they willfully stealing? Is this just sloppy work on behalf of the people writing their speeches? Is it the same person writing the speeches? Hey, if you've got a gig as a political speechwriter, you know, I would imagine that you're pretty bipartisan. Whoever is willing to pay you is probably who you're going to go with. You know, writers are writers. And if you have the ability to move people with the written and or spoken word, I would imagine that, look... It's not always going to be easy, as it isn't for writers to make ends meet. So, you know, if Deval Patrick goes, hey, I really want you to write me a speech, you go, yeah, right on, will do. And if Barack Obama goes, I really like what you did with Deval Patrick. Can you do something kind of like that for me? Yeah, sure. I'm not stealing from anyone other than myself because I'm the speechwriter in the first place. This is all conjecture on my part. This might not be what happened. They might have slowed that record down and copied it note for note, like those people that say Led Zeppelin ripped them off a little while ago. That is not the point. The point is, the place where I got this audio from that we just listened to, Barack Obama being AB'd with Deval Patrick, was from Donald Trump for President, the Facebook page. And this went up right after people accused Melania of appropriating Michelle's speech. Now then, what does this solve? Answer, absolutely nothing. However, the crazy thing is, well, you think about some of the earliest life lessons you've ever learned. 2 wrongs don't make a right being one of them. And what absolutely blew my mind was that Donald Trump for President, that Facebook page, trotted that out. No explanation. No, hey, if it's okay for these guys, why isn't it okay for Melania? No, nothing. Just accusatory. Pop this video up. It said, just words. Just not Obama's words. Hashtag, uh-oh. It is so mind-numbingly, pathetically simplistic to do something like this in the face of having the finger pointed at you. So mind-numbingly, pathetically simplistic that it should be taken care of in the minds of American voters by that age-old adage, 2 wrongs don't make a right. And who do you blame for this? Donald Trump? I don't blame Donald Trump. He's doing what works. Who do you blame for this? Barack Obama? Melania? For stealing speeches? No, they do what works. I blame the unbelievably short-sighted nature of the American attention span and the American attachment to the principles that made us America in the first place. It made it go away. It made it a non-issue. It made it something that would be a flash in the pan. We're supposed to hold our politicians to the highest standards of integrity, and that, I guess, is why the idea of plagiarism within politics and speech writing is kind of, sort of, a reprehensible thing. You're looking at these people. They're supposed to be our leaders. They're supposed to be the people that speak for us, on behalf of us. Our elected leaders, our tax dollars pay their salaries. We're supposed to be able to hold them to kind of a higher standard than someone that would copy stuff out of Wikipedia or somebody else's speech. That's something that you would get suspended for in the 6th grade and know not to do that ever again because that was wrong. Simple, clear, easy rules that a child could freaking understand. Yet it doesn't matter because American politics, the American politicians, they're operating on a level that is lower than that of that 6th grader who has figured it out already. American adults just sort of letting this stuff wash over them on either side of the political fence. We've gotten to a stage in the game where we snipe, where we take cheap shots, where it all comes down to a 5-second soundbite or a clever meme. It's gotcha politics in the worst possible way. It's reduced us to a level of intelligence and integrity that is, like I said, beneath that of a 6th grader who doesn't know any better. Has it slowed Donald Trump down, as we said before? No, it has not. But it should be a warning. Not to politicians, because it's been made crystal clear that they can do whatever the hell they want and go, hey, look over here. Oh, that didn't happen. Or, oh, they did that too. Oh, you forgot about it? Cool. But if we're not able to hold our politicians to a higher standard, the very least we can do is hold ourselves to a higher standard. Don't make it about sniping. In your workplace, among your friends, your family, your loved ones, don't make it about I was right and you were wrong. Don't make it about, well, look who copied whose speech from who before that. What you got to say now, that'll shut them up at the Thanksgiving dinner table. No! Be human. Be real. Be better. Rise above what has become our system for your own good and all of ours. Courage is what it takes to stand up and speak. Courage is also what it takes to sit down and listen. Winston Churchill.
Don't get the blues, get all the news. We mean all of you guys out there in Radioland. All aboard!
He's back. AD on the radio.
Give it up, yeah. Give it up, yeah. Bring this on, come on, come on. That's the way you do what we do. That's the way you do what we do. That's the way you do what we do. You do what we do. You do what we do. That's the way you do what we do. That's the way you do what we do. That's the way you do what we do. You do what we do. You do what we do. Well, it's a new one. Here I come again, coming again, taking it back to the place where I'm picking up the pen. And before I started, it's already a killer. When you know that you're good, I gotta say that it's a thriller. Hey, I do it my way.
So do you have problems? You got stuff you're trying to work through in your life right now? Do you feel like there's obstacles placed in front of you, left, right, and center? Do you feel like you've got no shot sometimes? And worse than that, do you feel like the red carpet seems to be magically rolled out for other people that are not you? Do you feel like other people get a leg up in this world? Do you feel like other people get a chance when you get nothing? Do you feel like you constantly get passed over for promotion, for love, for respect, for all of these things when it seems to be handed to other people simply and easily just because of the family they were born into or a couple of lucky breaks and the way the universe and the cookie crumbles? Do you feel like you're being shortchanged left, right, and center? You have every right to feel that way because there's probably instances of that happening all around you, literally all of the time. But it's what you do with that that matters. What you do with that defines you and makes you who you are. And if you're feeling sorry for yourself this morning, yeah, you probably have every right to feel bad. It's probably well within your rights to feel miserable about any number of things that have happened to you just over the last day, over the last week, over the last year, maybe the entirety of your own life. But while you can't do anything about that, while you can't change your circumstances, what you can change is your response to them. And what you can do is take inspiration from a story of a homeless teenager who, as much as you might have had the deck stacked against you, this kid had it stacked against him pretty well as well. Homeless teenager who rode a bike 50 miles to register for college. Here in America, the idea of a kid not being able to register for college because he can't get to college. So what does he do? He finds a bike, he rides 50 miles. And we'll discuss his circumstances and exactly what went down and how that happened a little later on in the show. I know it is a story that provided a little bit more than the inspiration I needed to get out of bed and do stuff this morning. And I hope it is the same for you. Right now, though, let's take a look at the events of today in our segment, My Witness News, guest read by our intern, Brandy Aniston. Joined by the I was really on a roll. Like, I was just like, it's one of those things where, you know, Bull Durham, where he really fires that pitch and he's like, ooh, that was a humdinger. Up to that point, that's how I felt about this show. It all just came crashing down. Cut, splutter, cough, stall out. Funkhauser and Brandy are here. Tweet them at Brandy Aniston, at Funk FM. Tweet me too if you want, at ADSXC. How are you both and what is going on in the world?
We're
Everything
alive.
good, Funkhauser?
Yeah, we're just, you know, I'm waiting for my Pokemon eggs to hatch and
we're going out tonight to downtown Los Angeles for a big movie premiere.
You know, it's funny because, like, as we were getting ready for the show, I heard sort of, what you wearing to the red carpet? I was just like, oh, what the? This is how I can tell I work with people in Hollywood. Which red carpet? Which movie? And, well, because now I'm curious, what are you wearing?
Oh.
We haven't figured it out yet. You know, I sent the text asking dress code, ? So we'll find out shortly.
We're wearing
hopefully.
matching sweatsuits with our names on them.
I think we just have to be semi-clothed. That should be fine. It's a movie that's similar to American Pie, so dress like that, I think.
College kids, I guess.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Well, we all look forward to seeing the pictures on Twitter and or Instagram of your red carpet experiences.
We're fancy.
Oh, you fancy, huh?
You fancy.
What's going on?
Well, the Queen is upset that Donald Trump used "We Are Champions" at the Republican convention Monday night.
Oh, not the Queen.
No.
Oh,
not
Queen.
The Queen.
Sorry.
Queen.
I'm sorry.
I loved that song.
Totally misread that. Queen.
They should not have used that
I
song.
was wondering. I was looking at this and I'm like, why would she be mad? Oh.
Well, you know, I mean, hey, Donald Trump is stealing sort of like, you know, Donald Trump would have been appropriating British culture there and using it for himself. So I can understand if the Queen was upset. But the band Queen who came up with the song, We Are the Champions, which was used at the Republican convention on Monday night, that they're all mad about it. Freddie Mercury must be absolutely turning in his grave. It's bad enough that they did it without asking, but Melania claiming she wrote the lyrics was just rubbing salt in the wounds.
We are
the
champions, my friend.
Did you hear that?
We will keep
where is it?
fighting.
Yeah, did you hear that Melania Trump issued an apology for misappropriating content of the First Lady? Did you see her statement? It goes like this. I never meant to cause you any sorrow. I never meant to cause you any pain.
Shut up.
I only wanted to one time see you laughing. And so on and so forth. Her own words.
Wow.
Go on.
The Trump campaign published that Melania Trump got a degree in design and architecture from the University of Sylvania. But it was revealed that she dropped out in her first year.
Yeah.
Darn it.
Although, you know, when you look at the sort of potential PR fires that need to get put out, it's not a worst case scenario. I mean, it is embarrassing, but not as embarrassing as if she had actually graduated from Trump University. So she'll be just fine.
She'll
just
be
fine.
good.
All right, I'm going to ask both of you right now. For like the longest time, like Trump got laughed out of the room when he mentioned being president over various election cycles. And now here he is having snagged the nomination. Although I kind of feel like Paul Ryan said Donald Day Trump just because actually sounded like he was doing his impersonation of Eddie Murphy doing buckwheat on SNL. Donald Day Trump. But I gotta wonder. I gotta wonder if like maybe he said that. So he's like, no, it wasn't you. Someone else. We can all go back on this. This is a terrible nightmare as far as I'm concerned. And because he's the poster child for everything that Donald Trump is not. So it's got to be weird times. But for the longest time, nobody thought Donald Trump stood a snowball's chance in hell. It was a running gag. Trump for president. Now it's looking like it. Do you think this guy is our next president? Do you think he can beat Hillary?
That's a very tough question.
I'm staying super quiet on this whole election stuff.
I'm not asking you to weigh in an opinion. I'm not asking you to offer an opinion.
It could happen. Of course, there's only 2 people running, so I guess he's got a 50-50 shot, right?
Funkhauser?
Well, look, it's been so close the last few of these things.
Yeah.
Super big decision time. Pick one.
Who knows?
Flip a coin, man. It's like 50-50, I think.
Yeah.
What do you think?
50-50.
Yeah, I think there's every possibility. I really think it is anyone's race because
1 and 2.
Look, you got Donald Trump, who was a Democrat up until about 5 seconds before this election cycle happened, who changed up his game pretty quick. And I think he was quoted. It's one of those things. It's been attributed to him, but I don't want to say he definitely said this because there might be people that jump all over me. But there's this quote floating around the internet, and you can't believe everything you read on said internet. But he said back in the day, allegedly, that if he was going to run for president, he would run as a Republican because Republicans are stupid and easy to manipulate and fool and pander to. And the easiest way to become president is to be the Republican nominee. That may or may not be true. But here's the thing. Because he was a Democrat up until fairly recently, I think there are folks that he will pull from the other side of the political fence. Conversely, there's a whole bunch of never Trump Republicans that are like, no, not this guy. This guy's bad news. We'll actually vote for Hillary. We will vote Democrat to keep this guy out of office because we are so divided as a party. We can't all unite behind one guy and win. We're going to do whatever we can to burn the Trump campaign down, even if that does mean voting Democrat or just staying home. So you got people crossing the fence for a multitude of reasons. It's very interesting. It's very, very interesting to see how it's all going to play out. And it went from being a running gag to literally, I don't think anyone has an idea of what's going to happen. We should place bets. Like, just the 3 of us should have, like, a bet.
Well, we'll all end up in Vegas between now and November, probably. So
yeah.
I might end up in Canada. There. I don't know.
Do you think you'd actually move to Canada?
No, I can't. Obviously, I have family and my son. So my son is here and he needs to grow up in the United States.
Dude, I think California will be traded to Canada.
Can we?
So we
that
won't
would
have
be
to
cool.
move.
I mean,
that would be really cool.
This might actually be the year that it happens. For all this time, there's been all these people saying, like, if your person gets elected, I'm moving to Canada. Or if your person gets elected, I'm moving to Canada. Whatever the case may be. And now Whoopi Goldberg, Rosie O'Donnell, and a whole bunch of other celebrities said, no, this time we mean it. We are moving to Canada if Trump becomes president. But you got to ask yourself a couple questions before you move to Canada. Like, am I willing to learn French? And or Rush lyrics? Can I get used to replacing all my swear words with heck? Am I willing to develop an unnatural fondness for moose? Am I ready to fully embrace curling, whatever the hell that is, that thing where you sweep on ice? And is there a chance that Justin Bieber will move back? These are all very real questions you got to ask yourself before you're willing to take the jump to Canada.
So Canadian Jane is not listening to this later then. So I still want her to like you.
Are any of the things I said about Canada bad?
No.
Maybe you have to learn French.
Oh, I guess not.
You gotta learn French.
Gotta learn French. Oh, no, not French. Not becoming bilingual, not making myself a better person by adding another language to my means of communication.
Don't do that.
Learning Rush lyrics. I'm a huge fan of Rush. They're one of the best bands on the face of the planet. That first Rush album was one of the first albums I ever asked for from my parents for my birthday. Got it. Have loved them ever since. What's wrong with being polite and replacing your swear words with heck? The unnatural fondnesses for moose thing. Yeah, no, I mean. So
you thought you were backpedaling in the beginning, but now it looks like you're forward pedaling. So that's okay.
I don't know. Hey, moose are beautiful creatures.
Oh my God!
You ever been close to a moose before?
They're kind of scary.
Not
Their
as close
eyes
as your
are
average.
Scary.
Not as close as your average Canadian, but never chase them up to the edge of a cliff, if you know what I mean. But
wow, is that how you get rid of them?
I need to get the fire extinguisher for all these burns.
Oh, heavens to Gretzky. We should probably move on.
There's an inside joke in here I'm not getting. Okay, moving on.
It's okay, we don't get it either.
Yeah. Justin Bieber, this is exciting, was seen playing Pokemon Go in Manhattan.
That is exciting.
He was. What was he trying? Did you know what was he trying to catch?
Yo, girl, I just need a Charmander.
No.
You got a Charmander around you?
I don't know. I don't know what he's trying to catch, but I'm all in favor of this. I support anything that keeps Justin Bieber distracted around busy streets. I think this is a good idea.
E-cans, ooh. See, it's a Pokemon.
It's a Pokemon.
Yeah, well, yeah.
AD's like, what? I don't get it.
No, I'll take you that and raise you to the Zorbot I caught on my way to get a sandwich the other day.
He's got the flu
Burn.
also.
He's a secret undercover Pokemon player.
That's how zombie apocalypse started, you know?
Go on. More news.
Megyn Kelly claims Fox News CEO Roger Ailes sexually harassed her. I don't know if I said his last name. Ailes. There we go. Ailes sexually harassed her.
Yeah, this, by the way, brings the number of women working at Fox News who Roger Ailes hasn't sexually harassed to 0. Like, it's pretty much a company-wide thing, but Roger Ailes made Megyn Kelly a star. Like,
Do you think he's just one of those old guys who just does that by default?
Okay, so I've seen...
women?
All right, I was with, like, this record guy the other day, who I really like. He's a nice guy, but he's kind of old school. Very old school. And, like, he met in the hallway when he was coming to meet me, a female personality. And I was like, oh, hey, this is so-and-so, that's so-and-so. And we're walking down the hall, and the female personality was like, are you guys following me? He's like, I'm just following her. So beautiful. I can't control myself. I was like, oh, it's awkward. Oh, it's uncomfortable. Oh, that's, that objectifying my coworker in the hallway is not okay. And it seems like something that record people did back in the 80s, and that's just not like so. And it was interesting because it was one of the first times that I ran into that. Like most of the people I deal with are kind of sort of my age and don't act in that Cro-Magnon knuckle dragging sort of way, and that was probably obviously the thing back in the day. But I grew up after that. Like the paradigm has shifted. That's not something that gets done. But like, do you think the environment at Fox News that they're talking about was just caused by people being more old school and coming from a time where that was just the done thing and people do it? We'll talk about this when we return. Raises an interesting question. Get your answer ready.
Jamming on the one like Theo Huxtable. Days like this when I feel untouchable. I try and make up for all the wrongs I did by living my life like a Cosby kid. Jamming on the one like Theo and Stevie. I know it sounds crazy, but you gotta believe me when
Now, more AD on the radio.
back once again, the ill behavior, delivering and giving you a musical savior. Back once again, it's your boy AD again. Nobody rock a party better than me. Back once again, the ill behavior, delivering and giving you a musical savior. Back once again, it's your boy AD again. Nobody rock a party better than me.
So let's roll through what remains of the news. But the whole Roger Ailes thing being out at Fox News and having had a track record, it turns out, of more or less sexually harassing every female on the staff is what it's seeming like. Funkhauser raised an interesting question. Was he just doing something that was acceptable years ago? Not saying it was right, not saying it justifies it. But is this just a holdover from being old school when that sort of thing was people got away with it, and it was sort of part of the rhetoric around the workplace and the office in a way that is completely unacceptable, and rightly so. Now, we'll talk about this a little later on. Right now, though, let's roll through what remains of the news. Brandy Anderson, what else is going on in the world?
The production company of Bart Simpson voice Nancy Cartwright has acquired the movie rights to the thriller novel Body of Evidence.
Yeah. I think there might be a chance of us interviewing Nancy Cartwright. I'm not sure. The voice of Bart. Hey, can you do Bart Simpson? That kind of sounded like Bart. Can you do it?
No, but wouldn't that be cool if I could?
It would be extremely cool.
Maybe I should work on that.
You got the right. Yeah. You just got to grab your throat, I think.
I didn't even know it was a female who did his voice.
Yeah, that's how Bart Simpson has had a voice that hasn't broken or dropped over the years. It's interesting. It's not like Charlie Brown where they replace them with new kids every time someone's voice changes, which I thought was super cool. Like in all the Charlie Brown movies, that's actual children. And Charles Schultz insisted upon that. He's like, I don't want adults doing cartoon voices of what they think kids should be. I want this to actually sound like a bunch of kids hanging out, and that worked for them. But in cases like The Simpsons, where you want to have the same voice in a character for over 25 years, I think a lot of voices of boys are voiced by women. In the movie, I believe one character will be heard saying, "You have a body of evidence? Ay caramba." Go on.
That was pretty good.
That was pretty good. I could pitch that up.
I like that.
Do the Bartman.
The Republican National Convention has been packed.
Yeah.
Packed?
A lot of people are saying packed. A lot of people are saying this is like record-breaking attendance. This has been huge. This has been the hugest Republican National Convention in the history of huge Republican National Conventions. And a lot of people are arguing that number is inflated, and a lot of people are saying that half the people were actually just playing Pokemon Go and looking for a relax.
Okay. Well, what about? I mean, don't you think that this could also be like social media, like people feeling like they're there because they're joining in through the Twitter like updates? I mean, I don't really feel like I don't know if it's any bigger than other years. I feel like I don't know. Who would I know? I don't go to these conventions.
Seems a little kooky this year.
Right.
It's certainly garnered the most attention. It really has.
Yeah.
Our buddy Steve Hofstetter tweeted a picture. Like, people are like, "Oh, this is such a big thing on the world stage." He was like, it might be a big thing on the world stage, but here's the arena when Melania Trump was speaking, and it was, like, empty. Like, he tweeted a picture. I don't know if that was true or not, but it's an interesting one for sure. What else?
Donald Trump may name his cabinet before the election.
Yeah, it's kind of like Babe Ruth pointing to the wall and being like, this one's getting knocked out of the park. You know, calling your shot.
Calling out names, huh?
Yeah. It's, I don't know. It's interesting. We'll see. I think Trump wants to make sure that he gets the best people possible before Dennis Rodman and Bret Michaels of Poison commit to something else.
33% of Americans say they fear a Donald Trump presidency, and 25% say they fear a Hillary Clinton presidency.
29, 33?
33 to 25.
Yeah, 33 to 25, which explains Hillary's new campaign slogan. I'm 8% less scary.
I'm 8% less scary.
That's great.
Do you ever barking like a dog, Funkhauser?
Oh, yeah.
Wait,
all right, I'm going to say I'm 8% less scary, and then you hit that. You got it? You ready?
I'm ready.
Hillary Clinton's new campaign slogan, I'm 8% less scary.
Oh, my
Are we the only radio show that managed to cling on to that forever? That could be the...
Is that her?
Yeah. Do you remember the context? Why was she...
Oh, I can't remember.
I remember now. She was saying, all these Republicans do is bark like a dog. This is my impersonation of Republicans. Hit it, Funkhauser. Yeah. That was the context in which it was used. And I haven't heard... I don't listen to a lot of other radio because I don't have time, but we might be the only folks using Hillary Clinton barking like a dog as a regular soundbite. And
I don't think I've ever heard that.
Yeah. I feel like we should be proud of it. Not really proud, but proud nevertheless.
I'm proud.
All right.
Okay. The Senate confirmed the first African-American librarian of Congress.
Yeah. Most powerful black woman in literature when Oprah's not holding book club.
Watch out, man. You barely missed that one.
Smoking crater next to me. I get to do my Oprah impersonation. Live another day. She's got other concerns now that her cable network continues to fail. You get a pink slip and you get a pink slip and you get a pink slip. Everybody look under your chairs. You're all getting new careers. Go on.
A mosque in Rhode Island was tagged with anti-Muslim graffiti over the weekend.
Yeah.
That's really sad.
Come on, y'all.
The suspect is described as tall, crazy-haired, and
with
running
a spray
for president. That's so not okay. Like, it's so not like. Look, think what you will about anybody's faith or belief or what have you, but it's just you're not helping. You want them to you guys watch the new Jim Jeffries special?
Not yet. I need a translator.
Agreed.
I don't agree with when comedians get political. I think it's a very, very important thing, because people that are not held to standards and practices of a politician, even though politicians, as we've discussed, get away with a lot. Comedians, satirists, people like us, we have access to the truth in ways other people don't. We don't have to dance around things in ways that other people don't. And while I don't necessarily agree with all of what Jim Jeffries says when he gets political, he did point out one thing. If there's a 16-year-old kid going to that mosque, has never been outside of America, and shows up and it's tagged with hateful graffiti, is that going to make him feel more or less safe and more or less a part of America, or is it going to make him very, very easy to radicalize? I'm going to go on a limb and guess it's the bad one.
There's something happening here, and you should know what it is.
The Dumbing Up of America. Now, more AD on the radio.
So ultimately, I don't think white people really understand anything about being black. I don't think old people really understand what it is to be young. Young people certainly don't understand what it is to be old. And men don't have any kind of an idea whatsoever what it is to be a woman. So Funkhauser and I have very, very limited room to move on issues like this one. But as it turns out, we have our intern, Brandy Aniston, in the room with us today. So I want to explore this one from a female perspective a little bit. Sure. There's reports that Fox News boss Roger Ailes getting pushed out of Fox News thanks to Gretchen Carlson and her sexual harassment lawsuit. Now, before you go feeling all bad for him, supposedly he's getting a $40 million buyout. He'll be just fine. Meanwhile, we now know why Megyn Kelly was one of the few current Fox News employees who didn't come to Roger's defense. Sources say that she told an investigation that he harassed her 10 years ago. And he was employed for the last 10 years, so I don't know how far that investigation went. He supposedly made unwanted sexual advances when Megyn was still just a contributor at the network, as opposed to the massive star that she became. One report claims it was an unwanted hug. Now she's seen as the future of Fox News, which is why they're supposedly working so quickly to push Roger out. So, sexual harassment in the workplace, unwanted advances, not necessarily feeling like everything is above board and you're not being treated the way you should be. What is this like for a woman?
Well,
in 2016,
it's really hard for me to be the one to answer this because of my career path in the past. Because, in our workplace, it was really hard to say, oh, I don't want to be hugged like that or touched like that, because in the adult world, people were very forward about that. And it kind of just felt like something I started to have to accept. Now that I'm in this workplace, I would feel very, very uncomfortable if someone did that to me here. I just don't think I think as a man at this day and age for 2016, the best rule of thumb is if you think it might even be a question, don't do it. Like, don't hug her. Even if she's if you guys are not on like that level, or even like have like an outside friendship, because a lot of times I think what guys confuse is their work relationships to a real friendship. And I think that sometimes they cross boundaries with hugs or whatnot, or, and I think that as women, we are, hormonal and we get moody. And, if someone does something we don't like, we jump on them. I don't know.
Your workplace, coming from the adult world, I would have thought it would have been extra, again, no idea. Don't know what it's like to be a woman. Certainly don't know what it's like to be a woman in that work environment. Would never be arrogant enough to presume so. But I would imagine that, are there sort of like good environments and bad environments to work in?
Definitely.
I guess maybe where it's just like, hey, you know, like, this is different. Over here, this is part of my job.
Right.
This over there, that has nothing to do with my job, and cut it out and understand why.
Right.
Like, I mean,
a lot of times I would have a hard time. Like, this is why people don't really understand in the adult world. I was able to kind of keep like a list of the people I worked with, because a lot of them could be inappropriate. You know, they feel like they're working with you on that level. They see the camera shut off, they keep going, and you're like, no, buddy, move away. Like, this isn't the time or the place. When that camera's rolling, that's when you can touch me. So I've had that issue before, and it made things very uncomfortable, and how I reacted was just to never work with them again. Now, on the other hand, you have a lot of companies that aren't, I mean, some companies, obviously, in all business, some companies are larger than others. So the companies that were very large had a lot of rules. So they were more appropriate with us. Now, the companies were kind of like mom and pop, you know, adult video places or whatever.
Mom and pop, that's funny.
Right. They were less likely. I mean, you were more likely to have something maybe inappropriate happen to you.
Right.
Yeah.
Less structured in what they do.
Not saying that anything crazy bad ever happened to me, but I will say that you can't control other talent, and it is the adult business. So sometimes people cross boundaries for sure.
Well, I mean, I think that's the same in any kind of workplace. It's definitely, you know, from the outside looking in, much less clearly defined. And I suppose that's what it is. The problem would arise when it's not a clearly defined thing where, hey, this is okay, this not so much. You know, like if you had the rule, when the camera goes off, no. You know, when the camera's on, that's the job. Like, but it's very strange. It's very, I can't. We all have to take this responsible broadcast initiative thing to be on the air at this company. And there's that old school rule that we talk about and we joke about. When you take this responsible broadcasting initiative test, there is what best describes the appropriate attitude toward possibly offensive or objectionable content that you're thinking about airing. Option A. If it makes you grin, leave it in. Option B, when in doubt, leave it out. And that's, you know, clearly it's when in doubt, leave it out. So if you're ever unsure, the answer is no, I think. And that's a great way of going through life, not only in the workplace, but anywhere else. And there seems to be
some editing to do.
there seems to be sort of like all these questions around the idea of consent. Like for me, I grew up worshiping a punk rock band called No Means No. And, you know, like that's very clearly defined. No is no. And people should be able to get and understand and respect that. And yet it seems like in this day and age, in 2016, people are still struggling with this issue. And it absolutely boggles my mind as to why or how. I can see, hey, maybe you're in an unfair boys club. Maybe you are bullied into thinking something's okay. And, you know, it can work both ways. I had a friend who had to quit his job over being sexually harassed by the president of the company. And the way he did it was he saved him a message that she left him that she really shouldn't have left him. And he did very well out of it and also managed to remove himself from a potentially inflammatory situation, which he really was not okay with. He was told his career was on the line, whether or not his career was on the line, and it all hinged around whether or not he gave her the things physically that she wanted from him. He got the message.
What do you mean,
showed
like
the message to some? No. It's an amazing story, and I don't want to. Yeah, I don't want to go into it too much more because it's sort of like it was all kept super duper hush hush. And but the crazy thing is, like, this guy did really, really well out of it. So it goes both ways. It really does. Supposedly, Roger Ailes made these unwanted sexual advances when Megyn Kelly was just a contributor back in the day. The unwanted hug. Hugs are a tough one. And again, it falls into the category of when in doubt, leave it out. Like, it's weird because when you go out and about and you're in radio, look, let's not get it twisted. I know some radio folks would be like, my fans want this from me. I was like, pull this one over the side of the reality turnpike. You do not have fans. We have listeners, people that have been good enough to make our little show a part of their afternoon. Radio folks don't have fans. We have listeners. But occasionally, people that listen to the radio show kind of feel like you're public property. That includes when you go out, because you are a voice of a community. You are a part of a community. And if you're doing this right, you're giving something back to the community you're in every single day. And that can mean sometimes people want to hug you when they meet you in the street, which is so much better than, hey, why don't you play more Metallica? You suck and you should die. But nevertheless, whenever I get the hug in the street or at a radio station event, I always try and I don't even know, that maybe I'm just making this up. Does it make it any better that I do the side hug? Like, oh, so nice to see ya.
You know what? I got to be honest, because in my business, obviously, I get a lot of, and I did have fans when I was in the adult world. So I had a lot of people that would run up and squeeze me. Honestly, I'm really, really, really good to them, and I enjoy their hugs, even if they are the little side ones. If they kind of smelled a little funky or whatever, I would kind of turn to the side. But the majority of the time, I'm a hugger, and, I love the fact that they made me what I was in that business, so how could I turn them away?
You ever hear the story of my first meeting with Funkhauser?
No.
Funkhauser, I'm in San Diego for work. Funkhauser is in San Diego, and he was like, "Hey, we're going to be working together. We should meet." I was like, "Okay, fine, cool." So we go to the radio station, and I see what I presume to be his car. He's walking toward me, and I do what people do in this situation. I extend my hand and I say, "Nice to meet you." And Funkhauser comes in and goes, "No, I'm a hugger." His exact words. It's exactly how he said it.
Yeah, brought it way in.
Like scary, like Barney or something.
Brought it way. It wasn't scary. It was kind of endearing. And
oh man, I was going for scary.
Yeah, in this situation, it made me feel
Barry's
like
hugs are the best.
Yeah.
Barry is a hugger, and I'm a hugger, but I've known Barry personally for a long time.
We're not in the same place.
No,
so
we can't
that hug
you,
counts for 25 hugs.
Yeah.
I'm virtually hugging you.
I certainly felt as though you're saying that hug counted for 25 hugs. That's exactly how I felt when I first got it. Well, next 25 meetings, that won't be necessary. I feel like I've been hugged and hugged well.
You're getting more.
Anyways.
Oh my God.
So if you are super producer to the stars, Barry Funkhauser, a hugger, you want to be careful how you dole those out, because sometimes you can be giving an unwanted hug like Roger Ailes did apparently with Megyn Kelly. Here's the thing. They're supposedly working quickly to push Roger out because, Megyn Kelly is the superstar of the network now, and she's the future of Fox and blah, 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 blah. But Roger might take a lot of the network with him. What's that you say to broadcasters in the room? Brandy, Funkhauser, AD, there might be job openings at Fox News where they pay lots and lots of money as opposed to what we make now. Well, get this. A source says everyone at Fox News hates Megyn, and Roger's departure could lead to an absolute mass exodus. Bill O'Reilly, Sean Hannity, Greta Van Susteren, Shepard Smith, and Brett Baer are among a group of people who are thinking about exercising a clause. This is called a key man clause. Like, if you have somebody at that company, you're like, look, really, Fox News, CNN, whatever media outlet it is, I'm here because of this guy. You can have this thing when you're big and powerful as a broadcaster called a key man clause or key woman clause in your contract, which makes it a thing where if this guy goes, then I get to go. And apparently they have that clause in their contracts, and they're thinking of exercising it if Roger is completely gone. Just an FYI, none of what we went over is confirmed. It's all speculation and rumors from unnamed sources at this point, but it is, in fact, a very, very interesting one.
I don't want to wear a blonde wig to work. Isn't that what you have to do when you work there?
No blonde hair.
No extensions.
No.
Yeah. I don't know. The vision of Funkhauser in a wig walking up to people at Fox News going, I'm a hugger, is pretty much the greatest thing ever. Hey, Funkhauser, how much time do we have left? Oh, that much? We're done?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Wow.
I had lots of other things that I wanted to talk about on the show today.
We need another hour.
Wait, yeah. All right. Thank you, Funkhauser. Thank you, Brandy. And thank you for listening. Thank you for being a part of our radio family. Tweet all of us. At ADSXE is me. At Brandy Annison is Brandy Annison. And super producer to the stars, Barry Funkhauser at Funk FM. Have yourself an awesome one.
Times you feel like it's cool to turn the other cheek and give people the benefit of the doubt even when they don't deserve it. And sometimes you feel good about yourself for being the better person and doing that. Well, this is not one of those times.